Chairman McCall, Ranking Member Meeks, thank you for the opportunity to testify before the committee about the ongoing humanitarian and security crisis at our southern border. As someone who previously led the Department of Homeland Security, I can say without any doubt or equivocation that the security and the integrity of our southern border is the worst that we have seen since 9/11, and it is the direct result of intentional and ineffective border strategy by the Biden administration. It is no coincidence that the 3 fiscal years that correspond with this administration are the 3 worst fiscal years of illegal alien border apprehensions ever recorded. Today, there are no deterrence policies in place and no consequences for violating our immigration laws. This administration has spent 3 years prioritizing the processing of illegal aliens and releasing them into American communities and has refused time and time again to change their strategy. As a result, approximately 9.6 million illegal aliens have entered the U.S. in the last several years, a population that would make it the 11th largest state. The security concerns with this level of unchecked illegal immigration cannot be overstated. Today, we know of a record number of known and suspected terrorists, special interest aliens, and other public safety and national security threats attempting to cross that border daily. And those are the ones that we know about. There is another 1.8 million known gotaways that should concern every member of this committee and every American. Clearly, today's border security system is unrecognizable from the America First border security policies of the Trump administration. And in all candor, the Biden administration is the first administration in my lifetime of either political party to actively take steps to diminish the security along our southern border. One such example is the termination of the highly successful migrant protection protocols to remain in Mexico. In 2018 and 2019, the Trump administration was confronted with caravans of illegal aliens approaching the border, including family units from the Northern Triangle countries, surging to the border and making fraudulent asylum claims at the hopes that they would be released into American communities. Misguided court rulings limited the time that we could detain those family units, even though that we knew across the board close to 90% apprehended at the border were making fraudulent claims. Unwilling to perpetuate the destructive catch-and-release policy, DHS worked in tandem with the Departments of Justice, State, and the White House to find solutions that were grounded in the rule of law. What we found was previously untapped legal authority in the Immigration and Naturalization Act that allows the U.S. to require illegal aliens who make asylum claims at the border to wait in Mexico for the duration of their immigration court proceedings. Establishing MPP was not easy, but with President Trump's leadership, the Mexican government worked with us to get the program started in January of 2019 at 3 locations across the border and subsequently agreed to implement MPP to the fullest extent authorized under U.S. law. The goals of the program were simple: to provide asylum protections quickly to those who truly qualified, quickly return aliens who lacked a valid claim, and to discourage future asylum fraud. And the results speak for themselves. Aliens enrolled in MPP who qualified for asylum received those protections in a matter of months instead of years. Over the course of MPP, around 70,000 aliens were returned to Mexico. Those whose claims were denied returned home, and many others abandoned their fraudulent claims. And by the end of FY19, there was an 80% reduction in border apprehensions of Northern Triangle family units, which was the main driver of the 2018 border crisis. MPP was a recognition also of Mexico's joint responsibility over illegal immigration in the region. And while Mexican officials were not enthusiastic about the program initially, they quickly realized and recognized the benefits of reducing the illegal flow through Mexico. In addition to MPP, we worked with Mexican officials to deploy over 20,000 Mexican soldiers and National Guard to both their southern and northern borders to curb the flow and push them to severely curtail the use of freight trains by migrants to come to the southern border. In stark contrast today, we see a border in chaos and crisis because this administration refuses to impose consequences and does not demand the same level of cooperation from the government of Mexico. This administration consistently points out that major U.S. immigration law has not changed since the mid-1990s. They are correct that the laws have not changed between administrations, just the refusal of the current one to follow their legal obligations. The MPP authority is just one of many examples of enforcement tools on the books that the current administration refuses to use. Today's historic border crisis is a policy crisis, not a funding crisis. Proven effective policies espoused by career Border Patrol officials are not being implemented, and it is by design. Simply throwing more funding at the problem will never solve the issue. Rather, we should use common sense and return to policies and programs like MPP that have proven successful and legal to secure the border. Thank you, and I look forward to answering your questions.